And the Oscar goes to.
Do you know which movies are the hardest to review? It's not really the horrible Twilights or the Birdemics. No, those have their pains and difficulties, but they're fairly easy to write about. The reviews that I, and at least some other reviewers that I read, struggle through the most are the middle of the road films. I'm not talking about the movies with an even number of good things and bad things. I'm referring to the pictures that leave you with nothing, neither good nor bad. The movies that are just sort of there. Despite being a Hollywood classic containing some interesting stories with a cast of Golden Age stars, Grand Hotel is one of those movies I like to label as meh. There are a few notable aspects, but I mostly walked away cold. Grand Hotel is based on the 1930 play by writer William A. Drake, who also helped pen the screenplay. The play was an adaptation of the 1929 book of the same name by Austrian writer Vicky Baum. The movie would later be remade into the 1945 film Weekend at the Waldorf and into a hit 1989 musical. At the 5th Academy Awards ceremony, Grand Hotel was the last Best Picture winner, as of 2014, to not receive nominations in any other category besides Best Picture. The movie is what I would consider the first ensemble movie of the Best Picture winners. It follows 5 people who are staying at the famous Grand Hotel in Berlin. One character is a ruthless businessman, played by Wallace Beery, trying to complete a crucial deal. Another is Barry's new stenographer, played by Joan Crawford, who aspires to be an actress and might be willing to offer Barry's character more than stenography work for his support. A man, Lionel Barrymore, is dying from an unknown illness and is living his life to the fullest before the end. And a baron, played by John Barrymore, whose fortune is gone, the baron's, not John Barrymore's, is planning on stealing a pearl necklace from a depressed Russian ballet dancer, played by Greta Garbo. All the stories never intersect at the same time, but there's always an overlap between characters, and the script is good enough that the transitioning back and forth between the stories is never jarring. It was common practice at the time to only cast 1 or 2 of your big money makers. The thought was that having so many huge stars in one movie would make the cost so high that the film would never make its money back. MGM said screw it and cast 5 of its best. Grand Hotel ended up garnering rave reviews and was one of the biggest grosses in MGM history. The success of Grand Hotel paved the way for future all-star ensemble productions that are still made to this day. But let's get back to the film proper. Grand Hotel is opulent. It's characteristic of Hollywood's lavish productions of the 20s and 30s. Its hotel set, made to allow for 360-degree camera moves, is fabulous and changed the way Hollywood made sets. The glorious black and white cinematography is also beautiful. The whole production reeks of Hollywood's old methods of creating glamour with wonderful behind-the-scenes talent and on-camera personalities, one of the latter being among the greatest stars in history. Garbo is the most well-known part of this movie, but she is just one of many Golden Age actors who appears in it, and to be honest, she isn't even the best part. I liked her story. Her career is on the wane, her character has lost her passion for dancing, she locks herself away from others, and is truly alone physically and emotionally.
I want to be alone.
That is until the Baron, who is in the process of stealing the necklace, reveals himself in order to stop her from committing suicide. They start talking, and she not only finds someone to confide in, but a lover as well. Together they reinvigorate their lives and bring each other hope. I like the presentation of her depression. She's experiencing a setback in her life and career, but instead of fighting through it, or doing something about it, she gets stuck in an endless loop of despair where she beats herself up about what her life has become, which just makes her depression even worse. This is so typical of what some, including myself, have experienced that it lends an authenticity and weight to her scenes. Garbo doesn't do it for me in the role, though. She's not terrible, but I wasn't wowed by her performance, and thought she could be a touch melodramatic.
I always said I'd leave off when the time came. And who'd trouble about a Grusinskaya, who dances no more. What would she do? Grow orchids, keep white peacocks, die. That's what it comes to at last. To die. I'm not going to wait. I am not going to wait.
I found myself drawn more to the characters portrayed by the 2 Barrymores. Lionel's part is funny and entertaining, but still heartbreaking and relatable. He feels like he's been mistreated his whole life due to his terrible job working for Barry's character, and that he hasn't truly begun to live until he begins to die. A lot of us have probably felt oppressed or thought we hadn't lived life to its fullest, and Lionel Barrymore represents the desire to change all that impeccably well.
But for the first time in my life, I've tasted life. Splendid. Life is wonderful, but it's very dangerous. If you have the courage to live it, it's marvelous.
Wonderful.
You don't know anything about that.
Come on,
because
let's
you're
go,
all
boys.
healthy and happy. But believe me, if a man doesn't know death, he doesn't know life.
Lionel also elevates the other members of the cast he interacts with. The characters portrayed by Lionel and his brother develop a great friendship where both want the best for the other. The Baron even convincing Crawford's character, who has feelings for the Baron, to spend more time with Lionel's due to the latter being sad and lonely. John has a multifaceted role. The Baron is clearly a good man who is considerate of others and what they're going through, and he wants to help them in any way that he can. You feel for the guy, even though he's stealing from others to get himself out of his own problems. For whatever reason, I was still bored by his part. All the scenes with Lionel are great and made him instantly interesting. The strong friendship that grows between Crawford and Lionel also made me care about a woman whose story wasn't doing much for me.
You think you'd have as good a time with me as you did with Pricing?
Why, of course.
Really?
Yes.
You like me better than you did him?
Oh, you're a good man, Mr. Kringelline. A very good man.
You know, I never thought anything so beautiful could come to me.
What this film excels at is presenting these 5 broken people who are unhappy with their lives, but who are shown a glimmer of hope. Although not everyone's story ends happily, the film demonstrates that within every tragedy there is a silver lining, and that people can positively affect the lives of others if they are only willing to help. This is still a relevant theme today in a world where many people think the human race is no good and selfish. Beyond that, there isn't much to say. It may sound like I'm recommending this, but I'm not. I'm not recommending it either. Like I said, the movie is just sort of there. It's not a pure meh film, since I did like aspects of it, and maybe I would like it more if I saw it a second time. As is, I didn't care about Barry's business deal, about Crawford's aspirations, or about the reasons behind John's life of crime. It's an emblem of classic Hollywood, what with its cast and its sense of old-fashioned glamour, but those aspects and its wonderful themes don't put it ahead of many other Best Picture winners I've reviewed. To the film's credit, even with its sometimes dark, gloomy subject matter, it has rays of light shining through it, and demonstrates there is always hope, even if your life seems over, which counts for something.